welcome to today's video. My name's Lois and today I'm going to be telling you about my trip to the Alsager Book Emporium. Now this is a second-hand bookshop in an old chapel and it's nearby to my nana's, but it's only open on Fridays and Saturdays, which is why I haven't been before. So it was my first time going and I spent about an hour and a half in there. There were just so many books to look at. They had classics, art books, history books, a big war section, crime books. But most exciting for me was that they had a massive theology section, so I had a really good look there and I found a couple of things. So I filmed a tiny bit in the shop, so I'll show you some clips.
I found another book about a cat.
Oh. So whilst I was looking in the classics section of the Book Emporium, I found the Canterbury Tales by Chaucer. And I've not read the Canterbury Tales before, but because I'm kind of developing an interest in English literature, I felt like this is quite a key text. I'm pretty sure somebody has recommended it to me at some point. It says, "The prologue to the Canterbury Tales contains the most vivid and familiar passages from medieval English literature. Chaucer's pilgrims form a complete cross-section of the society of his day, from the monk and merchant, the doctor and lawyer, through to the outrageous miller and the corrupt summoner. The illustrated edition of the prologue features miniatures taken from the Ellesmere manuscript and closely adheres to the authentic text of Chaucer. Endnotes provide all the information necessary for a complete understanding of the work." Yeah, so I felt like whilst I should look into Chaucer's work, I also found it quite intimidating. But this chill illustrated prologue seems like the perfect thing to get started with. It's just in great condition and just looks like a chill thing to flick through. And this was £2. So next up I found a textbook that I was specifically looking for. When I went there I didn't think that they would have it, but when I saw how big the theology section was, then I thought worth a look. And that is Christian Theology, an Introduction by Alistair E. McGrath. I think somebody has recommended this to me in one of my recent videos. I also think that one of my university lecturers recommended it to me. And it's quite expensive online, especially if you get the most up-to-date edition. I think this is one of the older ones. But they actually had two copies of this. They had a more recent one, but it wasn't in as good condition. This one, I'm pretty sure from how it looks that probably it hasn't been read and that any marks on it are just from storage, because like it's a tiny bit dirty on here, but not very much, and all the pages look very fresh. But anyway, this was £3, which I think is a great deal. This book provides a long-awaited introduction to every aspect of Christian theology. Drawing on 10 years' experience of teaching Christian theology worldwide, Dr. McGrath provides the most user-friendly textbook on the subject currently available. Well, user-friendly is certainly what I'm looking for. It says the book contains 3 major sections: landmarks, a full exposition on the historical development of Christian theology from the patristic period to the present day; sources and methods, a detailed account of issues such as the nature of theological language, the nature of theological sources, and the manner in which they have been used throughout Christian history; and Christian Theology, a detailed analysis of the main themes of Christian theology. And I think this section on the bottom is quite useful. It says the main features of this work include written for absolute beginners at university level, explains in detail all key ideas and terms, avoids all forms of theological and denominational bias, and it goes on. So I don't really think I've talked about my degree on this channel very much, but I did a course called Liberal Arts and Natural Sciences. I wish in hindsight I'd either chosen a different course or chosen different modules within it, because when I started I thought I was interested in politics and I'm really not. And anyway, I only started doing theology modules as part of that in my second year, so I don't feel like I got a full introduction really. So I think this will be very useful. I hope that I can actually get through this because it's a big book, but it doesn't look too dense, so yeah, I'm very, very pleased that I found this. So next I have a copy of St. Augustine's Confessions. I think I'd used bits and pieces of this at university, but I feel like being a typical university student, I just found the bits I needed and used those. It's also nice to have a paper copy as well, rather than just scrolling. And yeah, they had about 4 different copies of this, 2 with this cover, but this was in better condition, so I chose this for £2, so very good. Almost 2,000 years after its first appearance, St. Augustine's Confessions remains a startlingly intimate, inspiring work of self-revelation. In one of the first autobiographies ever written, St. Augustine, the major Christian theologian of the early Western Church and a renowned pastor and teacher, offers an extraordinarily personal account of his inward and outward journeys. This compelling work takes the reader from the depths of St. Augustine's indulgent and dissipated youth to the glory of his conversion to Christianity at the age of 41. But yeah, I feel like the direction of this channel, so I fairly recently changed the name to Classics and Christianity, because I feel like both are very intertwined with each other. The classic literature I read very often has Christian themes, morality, values, and a lot of the Christian books I'm trying to read are classic Christian books as well, so, and then there are probably just a few random other books in there, but yeah. So I was very pleased to find this. So I thought I was finished with my book hunting after finding Augustine's Confessions, but while I was still browsing I went to look at something else, and then I spotted this, which is a book I had actually been looking for. So I think I got for a birthday or something a few years ago the politics book, which is another one in this series. I kind of lost my interest in politics, but I thought it would be really good to find this to get just a brief idea about other religions as well, because I do only really know much about Christianity. And I just thought these kind of DK encyclopedias, they're very accessible and just easy to flick through. It says on the blurb, "Is there only one God? Why must people suffer? What happens after we die? Billions of people around the world find meaning in religion, but what ideas underpin such beliefs and how did they develop?" Written in plain English and covering the world's major faiths, the Religions book is packed with short, pithy explanations that cut through the jargon, step-by-step diagrams that untangle the central tenets, and witty illustrations that play with our perception of religion. Whatever your level of understanding, whether you are interested in the global diversity of beliefs or the concepts that connect them, you'll find plenty to intrigue and engage you in this book. Yeah, I get the impression this book is trying to be unbiased and just being quite descriptive about different religions, and that is kind of what I want to read. It's got timelines, bright diagrams, so I'm really excited to flick through this. And this was only £2, which is really, really good. Again, I think I'd found this on Vinted for about £4, but then with delivery and fee it would be again 8 or 9. So to get this for £2, this is so good. So in total I spent £9 on these 4 books, which I think is crazy good. Considering I've got a hardback encyclopedic book, a textbook, and the 2 other books are in great condition as well, I think £9 is an absolute steal. And especially considering 2 of the books I was intending on getting anyway, they weren't just spontaneous purchases. So I'm not sure how soon I'm going to get around to reading them, but it was a really fun hour and a half browsing in the Book Emporium. I will definitely be making a return visit at some point. And if you're ever in the area of Alsager Book Emporium, I would really recommend you go and check it out. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!